Yeah, I also really like I imagine like when me and John are at Christmas night and we're like, drinking by a fireplace and you're like, you guys would not believe this piece of ass I had last night. And you're telling us the story and John and I are just assuming that you're lying about the whole thing, because it's just such a crazy story. But no, that happened. But like describing a girl blowing you and taking her clothes off without stopping blowing you is like such a liar thing to do. Like it seems like an older boy would tell you that that's what happened when they got a blowjob.
Welcome to the Fantasy Cast podcast, where three grown men pass the time by sharing their deepest, darkest fantasies. Here we go.
Oh, hello everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Cast podcast. It's been a stressful couple of months here. Sorry, we haven't been getting any new content to you guys, but we've been in kind of a tricky situation. This is a bonus episode, so I'm going to be releasing some fantasies to you guys. But we were recording a fantasy a few months ago, and Mike was, per usual, very agitated, and it was hard to get a good audio quality for the remainder of the recording session, and there ended up being a lot of audio difficulties. So I salvaged what I can to give you guys a couple of fantasies today. But mid episode, I hear like a tinkering sound, and turns out he was like mid stealing a car. Then his signal cut off, and nobody's heard from him for the last couple of months. We keep getting postcards from different spots across the plain states, and I think alluding to the fact they're kind of incoherent. Some of them have like are sticky, some of them have blood on them, some of them have dirt. But they basically the gist of it is that he's went out west to try to make some money for his family, and he's sending back small amounts of money. He's balled up bills and envelopes and things like that. Good news is he's on his way back, so we're going to get a full episode out to you guys soon. John and I and Mike recorded, and he seems to be in a much better place. But in the meantime, here's a little something for you guys to sink your teeth into while we get the next episode out to you. All right, hope you enjoy. In my fantasy, well, first of all, I just want to get your consent on something. John, in this fantasy, get, you and me get down with some gay shit. You okay with that? Yeah. Okay. So now I got that out of the way, I can proceed. And so I'm telling the fantasy is through a character, an imaginary character that I've created for this show that I'm pitching. I have this idea for a TV show, right? And the premise of this TV show is that kind of like a busted out, down and out kind of guy. I used to have big aspirations, pro athlete. I played baseball as a really good pitcher, but I kind of like squandered away my potential with gambling and womanizing stuff like that. Um, and so I get so I'm like hanging out at the track a lot. I'm working odd jobs here and there to make money, and I get a letter that my estranged father passed away. So I go to the lawyer that's handling his estate, and like, yeah, he gave you a plot of land on the other side of town. You want to go take a look? I'm like, yeah. So we drive up, and it's this shitty, like dilapidated old diner that apparently he used to run for several years. It's in this like blighted warehouse district. Um, and the lawyer's like, yeah, it would cost you. There's so many like liens and tax, uh, like a really bad tax shape. So like if you were to sell it, you'd have to pay back all that stuff. So it actually cost you more money to sell it than it would to try to actually turn it into something, right? So I'm like, oh man, this is such an emotional thing. It's like my estranged father. I don't know what to make of it. I go inside and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna give this. I'm gonna try to fix this place up. See what happens. So I go. I grab a bottle of wine. I put on some jazz music on the radio, and I'm just like, like walking around this dilapidated diner, just like looking at pictures of my dad with different you know, local celebrities and news anchors and stuff like that. And I find some personal effects of his, and I see a picture of him holding me as a child, and like right by a bed, and like on a rocking chair, and singing to me. And I start breaking down, and I get like wasted off this one, and I just start trashing the place. And I pass out. I wake up. It's like the middle of the night. I look outside, and what was a abandoned warehouse district is just booming with people. You know, there's like a strip club. There's a bunch of prostitutes that are working the strip, drug dealers, pimps. It's like the part of the town that you go to when you want to indulge in some sin. And I'm like, wow, I thought this place was a dead zone, but it is popping. And I walk outside, and I'm like kind of in a daze. And I'm walking down the street, and a bunch of prostitutes are like, "Hey, you want a date?" And the drug dealers are like, "I got what you need." And there's a guy like barking at me to try to get me into a strip club. So I just go home, and I come back to work the next day, and I fix it up, and I keep fixing it up. I'm like inspired. I'm like, I can actually make money off this. I can open like an all night diner, serve the community here, like street worker community. So every day I go back in, I fix a little bit more, fix a little bit more. All right, on my way home, I get to know a lot of the sex workers and drug dealers and pimps, and I'm I get to have sexual encounters with a bunch of different women. Each one has their own story. Each one has their own personality. Each specialize in different things. I'm attracted to them for different reasons that are beyond just like physical appearance. And it's opening day, and I open the doors, and a whole bunch of just the night is over, and a whole bunch of like, sex workers and people of the night will come in, just like pour in, and just start yelling orders at me, you know. And I wasn't anticipating this. I'm scrambling around trying to kind of like take all these orders, go back, cook all the food. It's just a hot mess. People are like, "What are you doing? This is," giving me a hard time, like seeing that I'm in peril and trying to take advantage of me. Be like, "I already paid you for this food," when they didn't. Just really jerking me around. I feel like I'm a substitute teacher. There on my first day, and they're like, class is kind of like fucking with. And so I'm like, God, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I gotta hire some help here. Like the money's here. There's a market here. I gotta hire some help. And so I'm driving home. I stop by the pimp. I'm like, who do you like? Pimp's like, yeah, what do you want today? I'm like, you know what? I've been watching a lot of gay shit online. I'd like to. You got any guys? And like, yeah. And so he calls over John, and John hops in the car. You know, and I'm like, I can just tell this guy's got it. Right? This guy's just got a personality. He's vibrant, he's engaging, he's charming. And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, what do what can I get you today? I'd like to recommend, I'm very good at oral. The anal is excellent recently. I've been doing a lot of great anal work. Um, and I can top it off with I've got a Scottish pig. I've got Wet Wonder. I've got a screw top. He starts naming all these different like sex positions, and I'm like, "What do you have in like something real bottom heavy? Just want my bottom work." He's like, "Oh, I got something for you. I'll tell you what. I'll surprise you." Right? And so he starts taking like undoing my pants, and his mouth is like getting really close to my dick, and then it hits me. Shit, you how would you like a job? And John's like, job? I'm like, yeah, like get out of the street. I'll make you legit. You come and work for me at my diner. I need a waiter. I need somebody who knows how to work this crowd and handle this crowd. He's like, "Well, I mean, sure. Like you don't have to leave the area. You're still with all your people. You can turn tricks on the side if somebody." So I take John over to the restaurant next day, throw him in a waitress outfit, and he is just working the room. "Now, what can I get you? You sit here, you sit there. I got you, hun." Some there's like he knows who likes what. He knows like and it just becomes this place where the it's just like an instant vibe, like welcoming vibe, right? And so there I am, behind the grill, trying to make as much food as I can. Mind you, I've never cooked before, so I'm just I'm throwing some platters together and putting them out there, and I start hearing groans from the people out front, and they're like, "God, this food tastes like shit. Oh God!" And then like a prostitute's like, "I've tasted dick that's better than this." Ugh. And there's like a homeless guy that doesn't eat a lot, and he's like, "Even I wouldn't eat this," and he throws it like he dumps it in a trash can right there next to it, and I'm like, "Fuck." So I go home, I'm, like, exhausted, I'm just really, really depleted and down, and trying to finally get some sleep after a really crazy day, and I just hear this commotion coming from next door. "What the fuck is that?" And it sounds like people are laughing and carrying on and having a good time, and there's this, like, really rough, aggressive music coming out of the speaker, and I walk over there, I'm, like, banging on the door, like, "Hey, you guys gotta turn it down." Door opens up, it's Mike. Mike with just like the biggest smile on it. "Hey, neighbor, come on in, come on in." I'm like, "You guys got to turn the music down and relax, relax, relax. We'll take care of all that. Come on in." And Mike he like lives at like a group house basically with like a whole bunch of other like rocker guys, like punk rock guys, hardcore guys. And Mike's hosting a tattoo party. And there's a bunch of people hanging out getting tattoos, and Mike's giving people tattoos. And so he like kicks the guy out that's in the seat getting a tattoo. And he's like, "Saddle up. I got you. I got something for you. Just relax. Get this guy a beer." So somebody brings me a beer. And there's like guys lifting weights, and like they're lifting weights in the backyard, weights that are made out of like broom handles and concrete, you know? Like DIY weights. There's people doing jumping jacks. There's like a hardcore dance, like picking up change dance scene going on, and Mike's giving me a tattoo. He's like, "I got you." He's like, I'm gonna take care of you." He's giving me a tattoo of a barn swallow on my forearm, and he is just the most charming guy in the world. We just pick up conversation, and I'm immediately disarmed. I went in there angry, trying to get them to shut up, but I'm just like swept up in this moment. We have a bunch of drinks. Um, we have some laughs. A bunch of women come over. I end up having sex with a woman that I just met. It's just completely magical. I fall in love. She leaves, that kind of thing. I crash out on his couch, and I wake up the next morning to the smell of the most amazing eggs you could ever imagine. And Mike waves this plate underneath my nose, and I see there's eggs, there's bacon, there's homemade biscuits that are still warm that he baked. And I'm like, "What's this?" He's like, "Try this breakfast I made for you. We had such a good time yesterday. I feel terrible about wake keeping you up. I wanted to make you some breakfast." And so, um, we're so I taste these eggs, and I taste like there's a nuttiness to them. Like he's put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in there. It's like cooked to perfection. They're not watery, but they're not burnt. And I just absolutely amazing. The bacon is crispy but not overdone, and the I don't know how he did this, but the roll is like crispy and buttery on the outside and moist and soft on the inside. Absolutely incredible. I make myself a breakfast sandwich out of it. And I said, "Listen, how would you like to come work for me? You work at my diner." Like, "I don't know. Like I'm in a hardcore band. I've got a pretty rock and roll lifestyle. I don't think I can tie down to it." And I'm like, "Listen, you know, you can work here. You could, basically like I know what your dream is. I know what your goal is. Work here and do whatever you want on the side, and I'll keep you afloat." So he's like, "Yeah, fuck it. I'm in." So we just create this place here, it's just like oasis in the middle of this like sinful, um, decadent, uh, indulgent street life where just anybody can come and sit down and have a meal. The cops come there, the the, the carjackers come there, the junkies come there, and they all just hang out and break bread together. And it's like a place of peace. It's like a respite in all the chaos. So that's episode one, and I'm going to talk about a little bit of an episode two to give you guys an idea. Um, and so in episode one, that's the pilot. Episode two, we're all sitting there working at the diner, and I show up with a box. I'm like, hey guys, I got a new cot, and we're all like, a new cot, and I'm like, yeah, I got a new cot. I'm gonna set it up in back. 'Cause, all the drunk cops that we get in here. I'm sick of sending them home and having them do like domestic violence at their house. So I just want them to have a place where they can sleep at at our restaurant. Yeah, that's a great idea. So the next day I come in and the cot's broken. Right, I'm like, just got this thing. So I go to John and I'm like, hey, do you know how this cot got broken? He's like, no idea. Mike, I don't know how this cot got broken. So I'm like, God, something's off here. So um I find out I'm working, I'm like doing my books on the counter, and I overhear um one of the hookers talking about how John's been letting him turn tricks there, on the side. And like, that's it. He must be letting him turn tricks on that cop back there. And I'm like, John, are you turning tricks on that? Are you letting these women turn tricks on the cop back there? And he's like, no, 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 no. No. Yeah, I'm letting them turn tricks, but they do it on the floor of the counter uh behind the bar. And I look over there and there's like a blanket in the corner of the counter, like bunched up, and like a pillow bunched up. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, sorry to accuse you, John. Sounds like no worries. This cot keep getting broken. And so I'm on social media looking up Facebook Marketplace, like a cot to buy. Broke again. And I see a flyer for a hardcore show that's at the address of the diner, thrown by Mike. I'm like, that's what he's throwing hardcore shows back here. And so I go to Mike. I'm like, Mike, are you throwing hardcore shows at the diner? And Mike's like, yeah, I'm throwing hardcore shows at the diner. I'm like, that's it. You broke the cot. Mike's like, I didn't break the cot. I'm throwing the hardcore shows out in the parking lot. Nobody ever comes in here. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to accuse you. Like, yeah, no worries. It's got to be frustrating. Your cot keeps breaking. I'm like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So I set up a camera facing the cot, go home, and I come back into work the next day. Sure enough, the cot is broken. And so I take the camera and I review the footage, and I'm like, nothing, 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 nothing. And then I see John come back there with a woman, and John's eating pussy on the cot. And the weight of two people on the cot starts to buckle it, right? It doesn't break, but it starts to buckle it. Then I see Mike comes back there with a woman, and now it's four people on the cot, and he's eating pussy. So John and Mike are both eating pussy on the cot, and it breaks under their weight, and they go running off. Like, knew it. And so I pull them in. I'm like, diner meeting, guys. Diner meeting. You guys got to stop eating pussy on this cot. This cot's here for a reason. They're like, you got to loosen up, man. You ever eaten pussy on this cot? And I'm like, no, I haven't. They're like, you got to try it. It's so much fun. No big deal. So they go out and they bring back like one of the more seasoned sex workers who gives us all shit. She's always complaining about the food and talking about how, like it's a living kind of a thing. She comes back and she's like, so you want to eat me? This cot? Like, I guess so. She's like, it's going to cost you double. And so John and Mike go back out and to the front, and I'm back there for like 15 minutes. And the sex worker walks out and she's smoking and she says, I've had better, you know. And I come out and I'm holding my jaw like it really hurts. And I'm like, man, you guys weren't kidding. That was fun. And John's like, well, did the cop break? I'm like, yeah, the cop broke. But that's not the only thing that's broken. I'm like, I'm holding my jaw. And that's the end of the episode.
Spin it again.
Yeah, I want to bring it back to the old times when I would riff. So I just have a couple notes, and I'm going to try to just flesh this out because I want to develop it, I want to to be better. I want to hear what you guys think. Okay, so here's a fantasy I've been thinking about. Nathan, did you see Baby Girl? Yeah, you gotta. No, 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 no. You're so wrong. You are wrong, 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 wrong. You gotta see this thing. Okay, one day on my way home from work, it's 12:30 p.m. It's summertime, and it's so goddamn hot. The traffic is so bad all day long when it gets hot like this. I get into a road rage incident. A guy cuts me off, so I honk at him, and he sticks his middle finger out the window, starts driving really slow in front of me. So I lay on the horn. There's just sweat dripping down my face, and I'm wearing thick glasses. He won't let me pass him. His arm is hanging out the window, and he's moving his middle finger up, down, in a really gross way, like he's slowly rubbing something with his middle finger alone. Does that make sense to you guys? It's disgusting, right? I saw someone doing that on the street. Just someone. It was so gross. This really pisses me off and disgusts me. I see that he has a whole family in his car. They're looking back at me and flipping me off, laughing at me and throwing fast food at me. They're screaming at me and their sweaty, angry faces. It's something I'll never forget. The whole time I'm telling myself, just be cool. Get home. Once you get home, you can bust. You can bust once you get home. And while I do this, I start imagining sleeping with my beautiful wife and having sexual intercourse with her. And that's when I get into an accident. The car stops in front of me, so I swerve to get out of the way, drive straight into a building, and they drive away. Okay, my phone flies out of my hand and smashes against the wall, so I can't use my phone. My car is totaled. And I realize I'm in a neighborhood I've never been in before. I don't know where the living shit I am. Because it was so trafficky, the GPS told me to go some weird ass way. So I start walking around, and it's kind of industrial, but weirdly suburban, and feels like I'm like really west. I don't know where I am. Everyone seems kind of Eastern European, too. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell. Are they Polish, Ukrainian? You know, they're like they're blondish and they're icy as hell. No one will help me. I see a liquor store and I go in there. My shoes like fell off in the car accident. So I'm walking around barefoot and I'm asking everyone in the convenience store, like, hey, I got into an accident. Can you guys help me use a phone? I need a phone. I need a phone. Can you help me use a phone? You know what I mean? I realize there's like blood trickling down the top of my head. You know what I mean? Like, just I look like shit. And the guy behind the counter is like, you get out of here. You get out of here. You're bothering our people. Get out of here. You know what I mean? And he pushes me out of the store and I fall over. And I get back up. And I was like, I just have to continue walking. It's like, I think the sun sets in the east or the west. I can't remember. I'll just follow the sun. So I just start walking towards the sun and it's blinding me. It's super hot out. And I hear some music coming from an apartment. And I'm like, there's no one around. It's just this one building in the middle of a street and everything else it's just like all the buildings have been torn down except this one building. And so I go into the building and I'm like, well, this is a trip. What an amazing adventure I'm on. I go up the stairs and I knock on the door and it's just like a bunch of good old people just having a party together. They're like, come right in. This is cool. This one woman I'm in this living room. There's like 5 people around me. Like, let's fix you up. Let's repair you, fix your clothes, and like get you a pair of shoes. Okay, does that sound good? So there's a group of people circled around me, men, women, about my age, all pretty attractive. And then there's one girl with like, just kind of standing off, by a Christmas tree because it's like Christmas time, and she's just looking at me, and she just has like a creepy little face on, and she's sipping like a cocktail. But I'm like, whatever. Okay, so they're fixing me all up. I take a shower, I get out of there, out of the bathroom. You know what I mean? And they're like, have some punch, have a cocktail or something. And I start drinking the cocktail, and they're like, have you met um hmm, have you met this Janet? Janet? Have you met Janet? And I was like, "Oh, yes, I saw you when I came in. Very nice shirt you have." She's wearing I don't know where I'm going. I haven't done this in so long. Okay, and she's wearing just a nice shirt. And I'm like, "Wow, that's a really nice shirt." And she doesn't say anything. She just sips her drink. And she's like, "Do you want a sip from my cup?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Do you want a little sip from my cup? Do you think you want to take a little sip on my cup?" And everyone gets silent and they're all looking at me like their mouths are open and they're like kind of all smiling like Cheshire cats. You know what I mean? Trying to see what I'll do. And I say, I'm fine. I'll just get my own cup. She's like, you sure you don't want a little tiny, tiny little sip from my tiny little cup? Everyone is like totally quiet. I'm like, I'm just going to have a cocktail. I cut her off a little bit. And this guy comes up, he has glasses and he seems bossy. He's like, well, you don't like Janet? What's wrong, man? Everyone starts talking amongst themselves and stuff. The part of the music continues. I'm like, she seems fine. I don't know. I'm really more interested in like getting home. You got to stay for a drink, he says. So I have a drink, and you know what? It's pretty strong stuff, and it's pretty good. And do you want a cigarette? They say you can smoke indoors. I'm like, let's do this. Am I in heaven? I take a load off. I start smoking a cigarette. Drinking a cocktail, and I just feel so at ease. I'm even kind of aroused. And Janet sits next to me on the couch. You know what I mean? Like, okay, here we go. She gets really close, and she's leaning over to me, and she's like, "I like you. I like your style." Um, and she puts her hand like on my chest and stuff, and she's like talking in my ear, getting really close. And she's a beautiful woman. She smells great, and she's like, "Come on, have a little sip from my cup. Just take some." Please just take the tiniest little sip. It'd be funny. I said, okay, if I take some, will you just give me a little bit of room? You're making me uncomfortable. Really upfront like this. And I take a little sip, and she just smacks it in my face, and it pours it all down me. Okay, and she's like, "Your pants are all wet. Come with me. Come to my roommate's room. I live here." She drags me into her roommate's room and takes my pants off. Okay, and and my underwear, okay, and starts massaging me, okay, and starts giving me oral sex. So this is pretty cool, but I'm also like kind of scared. Okay. The door opens up and this guy starts taking pictures and stuff. He's like, and they're cheering me on and stuff. And I close the door. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And she's like, come on, just do me. Would you just do me? Okay. Just do me. I'm like, no, I don't. This isn't right. I pull my new pair of pants back on, some old ass Eastern European pants, and I walk out of there. I'm gonna wait for my Uber to show up outside. It was nice meeting you, Jan. I have to go. I go out the door. Everyone's glaring at me. The music has stopped again, and when I try to walk by people, they like won't move. You know what I mean? So I have to kind of like push them. I push a couple people out of the way, and then from behind me, someone just pushes me from the back, and I fall on the floor. Okay, and they're like, "What? You don't like Janet? Janet's so cool. Janet's crying in there right now." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Guys, I'm married. I want to go home." This guy picks me up by my hair. He's like grabbing me by my collar. The guy with the glasses. I forget what his name was. He's like, "You get in there and you go and you do it with Janet." I'm like, I don't want to do it. He pulls out a gun, puts it under my chin. He says, I'll blow your fucking brains out right here. You think I give a shit? That's my cousin. I want you to get in there. I want you to do Janet. So I go in there and I'm like, okay, let's do this. Okay, I like my clothes come off and I'm like fully erect. You know what I mean? Like throbbingly erect, like super turned on. And she's drying her eyes off and she's like, why didn't you want to do me before? Did I do something wrong? And I say, no, it just felt weird. Okay. And she says, okay, come here. She starts going down on me again. Okay. And I realize she's wearing like this the shirt and jeans, and she's taking off her jeans and shirt, but not like removing her mouth from my penis. Can you imagine something like that? Like kicking her socks off while also giving me a blowjob. So that was really cool. She stops and then stands up and she's looking me in my face and we're making out and she's massaging my member. And then she slips it in standing style, face to face standing style. Can you guys imagine something like that? Seems crazy, right? So I'm kind of like I have to bend my knees a little bit lower, but it's like kind of happening. And then she's not like tiny, but she's like small enough that like I can like lift her up, you know? And so we're standing and screwing for a little bit like that. And she has her hands around the back of my neck. And I take it to the bed and then we're doing it. Her legs are wrapped around my waist. And you can just, when I pull out partially, like it's so wet that like the wetness feels like cold. Does that make sense, guys? It's pretty hot, huh? Okay. And oof. Okay. So we're doing it that way for a little bit. I tell her I gotta slow down or else I'm gonna bust too hard. And I want her to make sure that she sprays clown. And she goes on her side, side saddle. And she's like violently kicking the sheets off the bed because they're like old, uncomfortable sheets. She kicks them off the bed. And then we're doing it side saddle. And I actually have my arms around her waist on my side saddle. Okay. And she has both hands behind her, grabbing my butt and like pulling my cheeks apart. Side saddle. So it's like a lot of pressure, a lot going on. And that fan is just blowing like straight on our point of insertion. Okay. And I'm getting tired. I roll on my back and then it's reverse cowgirl. Okay. And she's leaning back and her head is next to my head. So she has this full arc, you know? And we're going side to side. And her legs are like open and the fan is just blowing right in there. And then it's time to like zero in. It's zero in time. So she pulls out and goes down on me a little bit more, and then she gets up and then puts her hands on the wall and sits on my face, and I eat her out that way, and it's just a total mess. It's like crazy. I've never done that at that point in sex before, you know? So it's like super slimy, super like it's worn down there, if that makes any sense. And she's standing and I'm sitting like in an L shape and eating her out. Okay. And like grabbing her ass. Okay. And then she goes and we're back to missionary. Okay. And we're just going super hard. And we come and it's super intense. As usual, both screaming, faces side to side, screaming in different directions. You know what I mean? Clenching, the works. You know what I'm into for my fantasies. And I black out. Like I don't even remember what happens. No, wait. While I'm coming, I look out the window and I see a church steeple that I recognize. And I'm like, oh, okay, my house is like 3 blocks in this direction from that thing. And I put my clothes on. And when I like open the door, everyone's looking at me. And like the guy who like threatened my life like puts his arm around me. And he's like doing this thing that they kept doing in The Brutalist, where it's just like there's just so much hands-on activity in all of the acting between two men. You know what I mean? Like you put your hand on a guy's chest and you're like rubbing his face, who's like your friend. You know what I mean? That kind of energy. He's like doing that to me. He's rubbing his hands all over me. He's like, "You're such a good man. You're such a good guy. I love you, man." You know what I mean? I walk out and I'm still stumbling around in a daze, and my genitals are so like cold with just like post-sex slime. And I hear them cheering. And they're all so happy. I walk to the church and I'm like able to get back home. Okay. I go home, my wife greets me. She says the kid's asleep. We have really like cozy sex because I'm still like horned up from the whole situation. It's like thrilling. We go to sleep. It starts snowing in the middle of the night. And when I wake up, it's Christmas Day. The doorbell rings. It's my friend John carrying a big stack of presents. And his wife and kid are right behind him. And I say, "Welcome, man. We got everything set up for you guys. Come on in." We're having a couple of drinks. The doorbell rings again. Guess who it is? Nathan. Also a big stack of presents with his family. And he comes right in. We have ourselves a Christmas ham. And we have ourselves just one hell of a Christmas night. One that I don't think none of us are ever going to forget for a long, long time. The end.